Hello, good morning. I hope that everybody is well on this beautiful day in June. This is another exciting day for Hands Across the Sea samplers, and this day should have been May the 1st, which is when we traditionally release our annual Queen of the May. And the Queen of the May for Hands Across the Sea samplers is a sampler that is not only just beautiful but exceptionally beautiful, and we crown her our Queen of the May for that year. But unfortunately, due to lockdown, that wasn't going to be possible this year because of difficulties getting the model framed and photographed and her booklet prepared whilst we were in lockdown. It's very important to us that we respected our country's rules about lockdown. But anyway, as soon as businesses were allowed to get going again, she was our priority, and here she is, and she's beautiful, and she was worth waiting for. Mary Carter is the 2020 Queen of the May for Hands Across the Sea samplers, and she is a stunning band sampler. The moment I saw this sampler, I just knew she had to be a Queen of the May for us. Her colours are glorious and different as well. This sampler will glow on your sampler wall. Once I got past my thrill of seeing her colours and I started to study the band sampler, I was delighted with the bands I could see. Some of these are really unusual and you don't see them very often. This is a very pretty, delicate, feminine sampler. She's very, very pretty. She takes my breath away. She makes my heart sing. When I first saw the model that Alana Kay had stitched for us, I couldn't help but cry. She is just so, so beautiful. Mary finished this sampler on the 12th day of December 1712. She recorded that date at the bottom. And you will also see that Alana has recorded her name and the date 2020. Alana poured her heart and soul into this model, and it is exquisitely stitched. Very, very beautiful. Now let's have a little look at the original sampler. And we use the colours from the back of the sampler. So this is the front, but I'm going to show you the original sampler against the model. Now we used Lakeside Linen Vintage 4, and it's a fabulous match to the original. We used 46 count for the model, but if you wanted this to be true to the original, you would need to stitch this with 52/60 count. And we used 103 from Auvera Soie, and we were so thrilled with how we could actually replicate the colours with 103. And I'm going to just try and pull this down so it lines up roughly with the model. This is a little bit tricky from here. Try and match these bands up for you. I'm really thrilled at the reproduction. Now she's stitched all over 2, and you will notice that she's not reversible. Though this is extremely neat, you will see thread carry going on throughout this sampler. But the little girl, she did use 2 forms of reversible cross stitch. but the model was stitched with just cross stitch, as it wasn't intended to be reversible. Now the other stitches that we used were cross stitch over 1, that's for her name and the date at the bottom, Algerian eyelets, double running stitch, rice stitch, double back stitch, satin stitch and Irish stitch. Now you might know Irish stitch as Bargello or Florentine or flame stitch. She used 2, 4, 8 different colours, but we actually used a lot of thread when this model was stitched. Alana padded her satin stitch, which does use a lot of floss, but it is worth doing to give dimension to the needlework. And if you look at Mary's page, you will see some close-up photographs of the satin stitching, and I think that you will agree that it is worth padding the satin stitches. Now these thread quantities are what Alana used to stitch this model. If you're not going to pad the satin stitch, you will not use so much thread. Her stitch count is 230 by 450 stitches, and as I said earlier, she is stitched all over 2. The booklet comes with very clear stitch diagrams and instructions for you, and she's not a difficult or highly technical sampler. She's a sampler that you could sit down and really enjoy, and your needle can flow stitching her. There are a lot of stitches in her, so she would comfortably be for an intermediate stitcher, but this sampler is not beyond a confident beginner. She really is a straightforward sampler to stitch, and she has been charted what I hope is very in a really nice way for you to follow. We've literally shown every single stitch that you need to lay throughout the sampler. There she is. Now the one thing you'll notice when you come to stitch the sampler, that I have shown some stitches in black, and the reason that I did this was that the actual thread is an off-white and it didn't show very clearly against the white background, but that's all explained in the stitch guide. There isn't any black used. There's not a lot else that I can tell you other than the fact that she is available now on our website for pre-order. We're very, very busy packing the print run into cellophane bags with the sampler's bookmark and label for the back of your completed model. And we are now shipping supplies to stores and our distributors. You are able to order her now from our website and from stores, and we hope, making allowances for international postal service, that stores and our customers who buy from us direct should receive their copies around about the 10th of July if they order now. Enjoy her, and please post your progress of your work as you're stitching her. It is always such a thrill for Sandra and myself and the model stitchers to see these samplers being stitched. That's the whole reason that we reproduce them. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you so much for your support of Hands Across the Sea samplers. Until the next time, stay safe, stay well, and bye-zy-bye.